Everyone, I want to start today with a simple question. How many of us carry around worries, big or small, on a daily basis? The weight of financial struggles, family issues, career pressures, the fear of the unknown. We all have them, and here's the truth. We were never meant to carry them alone. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but how can I just let go of all my worries? And that's exactly what I want to explore today. What if the solution is not in fighting your worries, but in surrendering them to a higher power, to God? What if trusting God with your worries is not a passive act of resignation, but a powerful, active choice that transforms you from the inside out? We live in a world that teaches us to control everything, to manage every detail of our lives, to plan, to strategize, to ensure that we are in command of our circumstances. But what if true power lies in letting go of that control? What if trusting God with our worries is not about losing control, but about gaining freedom? Here's the surprising truth. When you trust God with your worries, you are not giving up power, you are stepping into a new kind of power. You are tapping into something beyond your limited human understanding, something that operates on a level far greater than your mind can comprehend. And when you make the decision to trust, something shifts inside of you. It's like a deep, invisible transformation. Your mind starts to quiet, your anxiety starts to dissipate, and most importantly, you begin to experience peace, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a constant, anchored presence within you. Trusting God with your worries doesn't mean that your circumstances will instantly change, but it means that you will change. You will be less affected by the ups and downs, less shaken by the uncertainties of life. And here's the truly powerful part. When you stop clinging to your worries and surrender them, you open up space for something greater to flow through you. It's like you're no longer carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and in that release you make room for clarity, for creativity, for solutions you couldn't have seen before. Think about it. How often have we held on to worries, convinced that if we just think about them enough, we'll somehow solve the problem? How often have we believed that the more we stress over a situation, the more control we have over it? The paradox is this: the more you hold on to your worries, the more powerless you become. But when you let go, you align yourself with a force that is infinitely more capable than your own mind. And trusting God doesn't mean you're passive. It doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you take action from a place of peace, not from a place of fear. It means you trust that the universe or God will guide you in ways that you could never have predicted. It means that you operate from a state of flow, not resistance. So, the next time you find yourself overwhelmed with worry, take a deep breath. Close your eyes and imagine handing over all those burdens to a higher power. Release them one by one. Trust that you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. Trust that you are supported, that you are guided, and that there is a force greater than your worries working on your behalf. The surprising truth is this: by trusting God with your worries, you become lighter, freer, and more powerful than you ever imagined. You stop being controlled by fear, and you start being guided by faith. So, my challenge to you today is this: choose to trust, choose to surrender, choose to let go of the worries that have been weighing you down, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Letting go of control is one of the most challenging, yet liberating, actions we can take in life. We are taught from an early age to manage our lives, to make plans, and to control the outcomes of our actions. This mindset, while necessary in some situations, can become a double-edged sword. The more we hold on to control, the more we create tension and resistance, both within ourselves and in our interactions with the world. When we cling to control, we become like a tight fist, unable to receive anything new because we're too focused on holding on to what we think we need. However, letting go of control doesn't mean abandoning responsibility or giving up on our goals. It means releasing the need to dictate every outcome, every detail, and every timing. It means trusting that things will unfold in ways we may not foresee, but that are ultimately for our highest good. When we let go of the need to control, we allow ourselves to experience life in a more fluid, open way. We stop fighting against the flow and start moving with it, adapting as we go. By surrendering the need to control, we open up space for trust to grow. We acknowledge that there are forces beyond our understanding that can guide us toward the right path. When we accept that we don't have to micromanage every situation, we release the burden of carrying it all ourselves. Instead of constantly trying to control the future, we begin to live more fully in the present, making decisions with clarity and peace, knowing that we are supported. It's through this act of letting go that we truly begin to experience the freedom that trust can bring. Trusting in a higher power is a fundamental shift in perspective, one that moves us from relying solely on our own strength and understanding to embracing the idea that there is something greater at work in our lives. It is the recognition that we are not alone in facing our challenges, and that we do not have to figure everything out by ourselves. This trust doesn't come from knowing all the answers or having control over every detail. It comes from a deep inner belief that there is a force beyond our comprehension that is guiding us, supporting us, and working things out for our good. Trusting in a higher power means surrendering the illusion of total control and embracing faith in the unseen. It means letting go of the need to understand how everything works and instead trusting that there is a plan unfolding, even when it's not immediately visible to us. It's a choice to let go of the constant striving and instead rest in the knowledge that there's an intelligence far greater than our own mind at work. This trust doesn't eliminate challenges or struggles, but it shifts our experience of them. When we trust in a higher power, we begin to see difficulties not as burdens, but as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. This trust creates a profound sense of peace within us because it frees us from the constant pressure to make everything happen by our own efforts. It allows us to release the tension of trying to control every outcome. We don't need to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders when we trust that we are being led by a force that knows the bigger picture. Releasing the weight of worries is a powerful, yet often misunderstood act. Our minds are naturally wired to focus on potential problems, risks, and uncertainties, which leads us to carry a constant burden of anxiety, fear, and doubt. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that our worries are necessary for protection or preparedness. We believe that if we don't worry, we won't be ready for what's coming, or that we might miss something important. However, holding on to these worries only creates a heavy emotional and mental load that prevents us from living fully in the present moment. When we let go of our worries, we allow ourselves to step away from that mental spiral. Releasing worries doesn't mean ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It means choosing not to carry them as a weight around our necks. It's the conscious decision to stop allowing fear and anxiety to dictate our emotional state and the choices we make. We begin to recognize that carrying these worries doesn't help solve the problems we're concerned about, but only drains our energy and focus. Letting go of worries opens up space for clarity, peace, and the ability to respond more effectively to life's challenges. It's like clearing away the clutter in your mind, allowing you to think more clearly and act with greater intention. Without the constant noise of worry, we can see opportunities more clearly, access our inner strength, and make decisions from a place of calm rather than fear. We create space to feel gratitude, joy, and trust, even in uncertain circumstances. In that release, we tap into a deeper sense of peace and security that goes beyond the temporary comforts of controlling or fixing everything. Inner transformation through trust is one of the most profound shifts that can occur when we let go of our worries and surrender control. Trusting in a higher power doesn't just change our external circumstances. It alters the way we experience the world and ourselves. When we choose to trust, something within us begins to shift. We stop seeing ourselves as isolated individuals who must fight to survive, and instead, we begin to see ourselves as part of a greater flow, an interconnected whole. This transformation is not just mental, it reaches deep into our emotional, spiritual, and even physical being. When trust is at the core of our lives, we stop resisting the natural flow of life and instead start moving with it. We let go of our need to control every detail and instead allow ourselves to be guided. This doesn't mean we stop making decisions or taking action. It means we make those decisions from a place of calm and confidence, knowing that we are not alone in the process. We align ourselves with something greater than our personal will, which allows us to act with a sense of peace and clarity that wasn't available when we were overwhelmed by doubt and fear. This inner transformation begins to radiate outwards. As we trust more, we become less reactive, less prone to anxiety, and less affected by the ups and downs of life. Our reactions change. Instead of being overwhelmed by stress, we respond with calmness and understanding. Over time, this trust grows into an unshakable foundation within us. It anchors us in times of uncertainty, knowing that, no matter what happens, we are supported by something far greater than ourselves. Peace over anxiety is a radical shift in how we approach life's challenges. Anxiety often arises when we are focused on the future, consumed by what-ifs, and unsure about the outcomes of situations. It is born out of fear, the fear that things might not go the way we hope, or worse, that we won't be able to handle them. This constant state of worry takes us away from the present moment, locking us in a cycle of doubt and tension. But when we choose peace over anxiety, we make a conscious decision to release that fear and settle into a state of calm, even amidst uncertainty. Choosing peace doesn't mean that life stops being challenging. It doesn't mean that difficult emotions vanish or that problems cease to exist. What it means is that, despite the turbulence of life, we learn to remain grounded. When we trust in a higher power, we can tap into a deeper peace that transcends our surface-level anxieties. This peace comes from the understanding that we do not have to control everything or know the outcome of every situation. Instead, we trust that we are guided and that, no matter what happens, we will have the strength to face it. Peace over anxiety shifts our perception of the world. It moves us from a place of fear to one of faith, where we can face challenges with clarity, strength, and calmness. Rather than allowing worry to dominate our thoughts and emotions, we make room for quiet confidence. This peace isn't a passive state. It's an active choice that we make daily, often moment by moment. When we choose peace, we are choosing not to be ruled by our fears, but to be anchored in the certainty that, no matter the storm, we are okay. Faith over fear is one of the most transformative choices we can make in our lives. Fear is a natural and primal emotion designed to protect us from harm, but in modern life it often becomes distorted. It grows out of proportion, fueling doubts, insecurities, and anxieties that prevent us from stepping into our potential. Fear can paralyze us, making us hesitant to take risks, try new things, or move forward with confidence. It can convince us that we are not capable, that the worst-case scenario is inevitable, and that we are alone in facing the challenges of life. However, faith is the antidote to fear. Faith doesn't mean the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. When we choose faith over fear, we are consciously deciding to trust that everything will work out, even when we cannot see how. Faith means believing that there is a greater purpose, a plan unfolding, and that we are supported through every twist and turn. It's the quiet confidence that even in the midst of uncertainty, we are not powerless and we are not alone. Having faith means acknowledging that we don't have to have all the answers. We don't need to know every step of the journey or foresee every obstacle. What we need is the belief that we are capable of navigating whatever comes our way. Faith shifts our mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. It empowers us to act in the face of fear, to trust our intuition, and to believe in our resilience. It allows us to take risks, pursue our dreams, and embrace life's uncertainties with a sense of purpose and calm, knowing that we are guided and supported through it all. Surrender, creating space for clarity, is a profound realization that true guidance comes not from force or struggle, but from an open, receptive state of mind. In our fast-paced world, we often feel the need to push through, to constantly strive, and to control every aspect of our lives. We believe that the more effort we put in, the more we will get out, and the more we force things, the more we can shape our future. However, this approach often leads to burnout, frustration, and a sense of being disconnected from our deeper selves. The more we try to control every situation, the more we cloud our ability to see clearly. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the need to control every detail and opening ourselves to the flow of life. When we surrender, we stop fighting against what is and begin to accept things as they are. This acceptance doesn't imply passivity or resignation. It is an active choice to trust that the universe or a higher power is guiding us toward the best possible outcomes, even if we cannot yet see them. By letting go of our rigid expectations and fears, we create room for clarity to emerge. In this space of surrender, we allow our minds to quiet, and in that silence, we find the insights and understanding that were previously hidden beneath layers of stress and overthinking. It's in the stillness that we receive the guidance we need, whether it's a new perspective, a creative idea, or the courage to take a step forward. Surrender allows us to become more in tune with our intuition, to act from a place of clarity, and to feel more at peace with the unfolding of life's journey. When we stop trying to control the process, we are able to see the path ahead with much greater focus and understanding. Power in releasing, not holding on, is a concept that challenges much of what we've been taught about success and strength. In a society that values control, achievement, and constant effort, we are often conditioned to believe that holding on tightly to things is the key to success. We think that by gripping tightly to our goals, our plans, and our expectations, we are somehow asserting control over our future. However, the paradox is that the more we hold on, the more we limit our potential. Holding on to fear, expectations, or past experiences only creates resistance, which in turn blocks our ability to grow, evolve, and experience the fullness of life. When we let go, we create space for new opportunities and experiences to come into our lives. Releasing control doesn't mean we are weak or passive. It means we are allowing life to flow without the constraints of our rigid ideas of how things should be. When we release, we stop resisting the natural course of events and allow ourselves to trust that whatever happens will ultimately work out for our good. This release is not just a mental act, but a deep emotional and spiritual process. It involves surrendering our attachments to outcomes, our fear of the unknown, and the need to force things into being. It means recognizing that true strength lies not in holding on, but in having the courage to release, trusting that the universe or a higher power will take care of the details. In letting go, we allow ourselves to experience a greater sense of freedom, peace, and alignment with our true purpose. Power lies in the freedom we gain when we stop trying to control every aspect of our lives and allow the natural flow of life to unfold. Active trust, not passivity, is a crucial distinction when it comes to navigating life with faith and clarity. Often, when we hear the word trust, we think of it as a passive state, something that just happens to us or something that we must wait for. However, true trust is not about sitting back and hoping for the best. It's an active, intentional choice that requires us to take steps, make decisions, and move forward, all while holding on to the belief that we are guided and supported along the way. Active trust means trusting in the process, even when we can't see the outcome or when the path ahead seems uncertain. It's about believing that the steps we take, even small or imperfect ones, are leading us somewhere meaningful. We don't wait for everything to be perfect before we act. We trust that the next step will be revealed as we move forward. This kind of trust requires courage to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to act despite fear or doubt. Trust is also active in how we respond to challenges and setbacks. Instead of reacting with frustration or panic, active trust involves responding with patience and faith that the situation will work itself out, even if we can't immediately understand how. It's about staying present and focused on what we can do right now, rather than getting lost in worry about what may or may not happen in the future. Active trust allows us to stay grounded in our actions while still being open to the guidance and opportunities that appear along the way. By choosing to trust in this way, we open ourselves to a life full of potential, where we move forward with purpose, confidence, and alignment. Guidance from a force greater than self is an experience that transcends the limitations of our individual understanding. Many of us walk through life believing that everything we need to know, every decision we must make, and every challenge we must face is solely our responsibility. We believe that we must rely entirely on our own knowledge, abilities, and willpower to navigate the ups and downs of life. However, when we open ourselves to the idea that we are not alone in this journey, we begin to tap into something far greater, an intuitive guidance that exists beyond our conscious minds. This guidance can be understood in many ways, whether it's through a deep inner knowing, an intuitive feeling, synchronicities that occur, or simply the quiet confidence that we are being led towards something greater. When we align ourselves with this higher guidance, we no longer feel isolated in our struggles or decisions. Instead, we trust that there is an unseen force working with us, pointing us in the right direction, even when we don't fully understand where that direction might lead. The key to receiving this guidance is to remain open and receptive. It requires letting go of the need to control every outcome and instead cultivating trust in the process of life. By surrendering our resistance and moving from a place of faith, we allow ourselves to be guided in ways that our conscious minds could never have planned. This guidance doesn't always come in the form we expect, but it is always there, offering clarity, reassurance, and direction when we need it most. When we trust in this greater force, we experience a deep sense of peace, knowing that we are supported and guided every step of the way.